in the grand scheme of things, if you go beyond 30, 45 days, 60 days, you're going to be taking well more than a 1 to 2% net proceed hit. You're probably talking somewhere between 5 to 10%.
Well, people probably want to get, I mean, I'd say right now, honestly, I would say 70 to 80% of the transactions I'm doing right now is anywhere between 3 to 6% in seller concessions.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Loans Elevated, the podcast that brings you the latest industry news, expert interviews, and insightful discussions that will help you stay ahead in this dynamic market. I'm your host, Brock Lassig, and I've spent years in the trenches of the mortgage industry, helping individuals and businesses navigate the complex landscape of real estate financing.
I'm your co-host, TJ Heidenreich, and together we'll cover a wide range of topics, from business strategies that skyrocket your success to mindset and motivation that fuel your growth. All right, hey, welcome back to another episode of Loans Elevated. Please remember, if you haven't already done so, subscribe and like the video.
Comment,
do whatever you can do to help us out. Help us help you.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, it does make a big difference. So we appreciate all the support we've gotten thus far. But let's dive into it today.
Yeah, so this Tuesday.
Yeah,
Gosh,
I'm getting a long week.
Yeah, for real. This week has felt crazy. We went to Tom Ferry's Listing Edge event. It's a newer event that he's doing. I believe, at least. It's something within the last year that he started. Partnered up with Cross Country. We sponsored the event. He came to a local hotel here in Salt Lake and kind of presented his content. And the biggest thing that I think that we took away, or the overarching theme, was being on the listing side, hence the name, right? Mm-hmm. And the problems that
Which is
agents,
different being lenders. So it's a unique perspective I've only seen before.
100%.
And for those of you who don't know, Tom Ferry is
I guess we got to plug him for sure.
But he's like the GOAT when it comes to coaches.
Number one coaching in the nation, potentially up there in the world.
Yeah, at least I know on the real estate side.
He does events all the time worldwide. So, I mean, very renowned. Anyways, good plug there. Give some context to the speaker. But anyways, the biggest overarching theme that we had pulled away was listings and the problems that agents are running into right now with listing inventory, which is increasing days on market and overall just increase in inventory, which I guess really is the byproduct of increasing days on market. More inventory, more options to choose from, increasing days on market, and that overall is netting your sellers most of the time less money. So they essentially discussed, and I want you to chime in on this in case I'm missing anything, but how to really position the listing from the from the very beginning to actually succeed and sell. Try and get it sold within the highest opportunity window to make the most amount of money for your sellers, and ultimately be able to move on from that inventory within 30 days or less.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it. What I like to think about, days on market is the enemy. It's the floor is lava with days on market. We want to get off the market as soon as possible. Of course, that seems.
What do we educate our buyers when we're looking at a listing and there's 60 plus days on market?
Yeah,
what do we tell them to do?
That's right? At that point, you've got all of the negotiations in your favor. Yep. So the way you price it and your strategy going into pricing and getting on the market is the most important.
Yeah.
I see a lot of agents, and we're not agents. This is not our field of expertise, but we see a lot of transactions. So we know kind of the ins and outs of the things people aren't really seeing.
Yeah.
And one of the things I see is people list, or they rush their listings. They just want to get on the market so fast to make their clients happy rather than taking the time, making sure they've got a solid strategy beforehand.
Market analysis, comps, like having the actual consultation with the seller, going into the unique dynamics of the market today, which it's always changing. So that's why these are always so important, because spring markets are different than midsummer markets and fall markets are different than midsummer markets. Like there's multiple different micro markets within the calendar year.
For sure.
So it's
can be micro markets within this month.
Exactly.
Especially like Utah.
Vacations, holidays,
like July,
graduations.
Throw it out the window.
Exactly.
It's between the 4th and 24th here. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah. So the problem is right now, just to reiterate, increased days on market, increased inventory. We're discussing how, I guess, Tom Ferry and the other experts at the event kind of work around this and set the stage for the property to do well.
Yeah. I mean, it's not about just having the correct listing photos now and having professional. Everyone does that. Everyone in the competitions, everyone's gotten better because the market's gotten tougher.
Yeah. The videos.
Yeah. So at this point now you really have to have a strong strategy, and you can't come into it where you're combative with your clients. It can't be you against the clients. You have to get on the same side of the table with your clients.
Yeah.
Because if you're going at it with them, because the reality is some sellers still think they're in 21.
Oh yeah.
Where they're going to get above list.
Which they mentioned.
I mean, this isn't, we see it all day and every day, so it's no surprise to us, but there's clients out there that they've been sitting on this home for a long time. They think that it is like 21. There's going to be a bidding war.
Right.
So it's our job to educate.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And on top of that, I mean, we couldn't help but think we have our Sell Like the Builder program, and we feel like it's a perfect solution to help in these cases. Of course, you as the agent have a big role to play with your market analysis, your comps, and kind of setting that stage with your listing consultation, but it's not always on you. I think the biggest pain point right now for a buyer is monthly payment. And so
100%.
That's exactly what our Sell Like the Builder strategy, helps with. It helps cure the pain for the buyer.
Well, dude, let's talk about monthly payment for a minute, because that's something that people graze over. It's like, okay, well, let's just do a price reduction. Price reduction might not be the most important thing, because one of the most important things to the borrower is monthly payment, or the buyer is the monthly payment. No one knows what they paid for their car. Maybe some people didn't know what they paid for the car. And if they paid cash, of course they'll know. But if they finance their auto loan, everyone knows what their monthly payment is. That's the most important thing. That's going to be their net out of pocket every single month.
They forget the sticker price. So
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They forget the sticker price.
Well, and oftentimes people don't even pay back the full auto loan balance before they're trading it in and getting a new one. And that's certainly the case in real estate. It's very rare that people pay back the entire sticker price that they originally paid for the property.
Yeah, without refinancing or
So really, if it's not about the actual end balance of how much you're going to pay over 30 years, we can all agree it's about how much you're going to be paying monthly while you're living there.
Exactly. So that's where you have to get more strategic with your sellers on how you're going to set up a game plan if you need to do a price reduction, or if you need to edit your game plan. Because reality is right now, 24% of homes, that's what they said in the presentation, 24% of homes here in Utah go through some sort of price reduction.
Yeah, and in the Sell Like the Builder program, which we should just dive into at this point.
Does your home and auto insurance seem to go up every year without fail? Mine did too. I thought this was just the way the insurance industry worked until I found my friend Alan Johnson with American Family Insurance. After more than 15 years with the same insurance agent, he saved me over $3,000 per year when I switched. I refer all my family, friends, and clients to him, and their experience is similar. Great rates and a great experience. Call Alan for a free quote today at 801-708-2962.
It solves the problem way more than a price reduction will. Like I would say, and I'm just throwing numbers out here, but an interest rate buy down, let's say it was 10 grand for an interest rate buy down equivalent of some sort. If you reduce the purchase price by $10,000, the difference in monthly savings is so aggressively different with a seller credit to go towards a buy down that it is on the $10,000 price reduction. Yeah, because a $10,000 price reduction or $10,000 plus or minus financed into the mortgage is only going to save about $65 a month. 10 grand on an interest rate buy down could be $300 a month.
Temporary buy downs. Yeah. Sky's the limit.
Right. Way more of a cure to the pain for the buyer.
But then also reduction. It helps the seller too. The Sell Like the Builder program does, because part of it is we send out an appraiser. Well, I guess we don't literally send them out. It can be through a desktop appraisal. But this appraiser appraises the home, so that way it gives you, and it costs $250, which I mean is a small investment when you think about the amount of money it could be saving the value in the long term. Exactly. And now you've got something as an agent that's a third-party resource. That's not you saying, hey, this is my opinion of what the value of your home is with CMA backing it, of course. This is an actual appraisal report that you're giving to them, and now you can list based off this appraisal report. Which I think is huge. You've got the third-party evidence to back it up right then and there.
Yeah. So that's the first part of the program or the strategy that we offer. The other half is just like builders do. I mean, you're not really seeing, at least very often, builders slashing their actual list price of their properties. What they're doing is they're attaching major incentives, like crazy low interest rates, closing costs covered, whatever that looks like, which is ultimately what buyers are looking for. And so now all of a sudden that price doesn't really matter.
Right.
Right.
Because the monthly payment's there.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're partnering with you and your sellers on the listing. We're going to share a cost of an incentive so your seller isn't on the hook for the entire balance. And we're going to help you put together some marketing that shows interest rate buy downs, closing costs, whatever that looks like, to help cure that pain for the buyer, save them monthly, which is ultimately what they're looking for.
Yeah. And cures the pain for your seller because they want to net the most possible.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a win-win scenario. It really is. The buyer's happy because they're saving monthly, which is what every buyer is looking to do right now to justify buying.
And then to add to that, if the buyer goes through us for their mortgage, which of course they would need to get the incentives, we also can use that same appraiser that appraised the home beforehand. So that way it takes out a lot of ifs, ands, or buts.
Gives everyone a lot more certainty.
Because we know what the appraisal is already going to come back at before we even are under contract.
Yep. So the seller in the end, you're giving a more attractive product right out the gate with the listing, which is going to help you sell it quicker, which is ultimately what you are looking for. Because 9 times out of 10, you're selling, you need to buy a new house. You can't buy a new house unless you sell that current house.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, everything else after that is all fantasy until you get it under contract. So this is helping you do that. And ideally within that, I think they say 7 to 10 window, helping you get under contract to sell it for the highest price possible.
Right.
And yeah, you might be forfeiting 1% or 2% up front from the list price with this incentive attached. But that's in the grand scheme of things. If you go beyond 30, 45 days, 60 days, you're going to be taking well more than a 1 to 2% net proceed hit. You're probably talking somewhere between 5 to 10%.
Well, people probably start want to get, I mean, I'd say right now, honestly, I would say 70 to 80% of the transactions I'm doing right now is anywhere between 3 to 6% in seller concessions.
Yep.
So
because they're 60 plus days on market.
Exactly. And that's if it doesn't include a price reduction on top of that.
Oh yeah.
So that first 7 to 10 days is very crucial because it's and if you're not getting any bites, no showings or anything, that's very telling that you need to have a quick conversation with your seller on
readjust price,
readjust expectations, or adjust price, do something different.
Yeah. Yeah. So ultimately there's a problem in the market right now. Days on market are up. It's harder to sell a home than it once was. We have, outside of what you can do on your end, we have something that can tag along with that, and it provides immense amount of value. We have agents using it day in, day out. It's super easy. You fill out a quick type form. I mean, we get you all the marketing for it.
Go to our website, fill out a form. It probably takes about 5 minutes to do. Upload a few pictures. Our marketing team then puts together flyers for you. Ryan and I go in, jump into
run all the numbers.
Yeah, to run the numbers for you. That way you can advertise the correct numbers and make sure you're compliant. And then we have broker approved remarks already that you can attach to your listing to advertise this. So that way you stay compliant as an agent.
So you don't have to do much. I mean, you fill out the type form, you upload a couple pictures, we do the heavy lifting, and you have the conversation with your seller. It's a no-brainer. And
add this to your listing presentation. I mean, use us as an extension to your team to say, hey, I've thought about through all this hard stuff already, and here's what I have as a solution. That's what we're here for.
Perfect.
So sweet. Well, thank you guys for listening and tuning in. Again, if you guys could comment, like, subscribe, do whatever you can to help us out. And if there's stuff you want us to cover, because we're full-time nerds about this stuff. So please reach out. We'd love to help out where we can. Thank you for tuning in. For more industry insights, follow us on all platforms at Loans Elevated.
And to get in touch with our team, call or text 801-713-4000 or visit loanselevated.com.